And we are on air. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the TUFF Channel Live. We're doing a special show today. You're going to notice there's only 3 of us. That will change shortly. 2 of our respective members are working on their technical difficulties. They will have them fixed shortly. But welcome to our show. Here comes Tom. Let's hope it works this time. He's joining the call. We can probably hear them. Can they hear us?
Did it again.
Oh, but I see a cat. I don't know where that cat's coming from, but it's kind of frightening.
That's an adorable little kitten, but
It is.
I doubt he has much to say. I doubt
I
he has
don't know
much
if
to
they
say.
can hear us. Can you hear us?
Cat.
We can hear you.
How do I keep turning into a cat?
I don't know, but it's really frightening.
Oh, that's the quote of the episode right there.
Yeah, it is. How do I
keep
turn
turning
into a cat?
cat?
Hashtag
show us your pussy.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Can you guys hear us? No, they can't. So they'll be popping in and out as they work out their technical difficulties, but we're going to keep trudging forward. So on today's show, it's a brief show today because it's Mother's Day here in the States. I don't know if that's a global holiday or not, but it certainly is here. So we realized that a lot of people are out doing things, and it didn't make sense to do a fan friction fight today. But next week, we do have the championship round, and 2 of the fighters in that round are here today. So please say hello to Brian Hurst and Samuel Catlin.
Hey, got it right.
Well, yeah, we'll cheer for ourselves since we don't have a cheer machine yet. So, guys, you excited about next week?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you been preparing?
I mean, just by immersing myself in the regular amount of like pop culture that I do through my whole life. So yeah, I've been preparing.
How about you, Sam? Do you care at all?
At 5 a.m., not particularly.
Yeah, right. So next week we're going to do that championship round. Tom, if he can get in, we'll say hi to him and talk to him for a little bit. Tom is the other fighter in that round. All of you have won your respective fights, so that will be the decision maker of who reigns supreme as Fan Friction champion. So I'm looking forward to that. If you are interested in fighting on Fan Friction, in the comments or the details below, you'll find our email address. You can send us an email at tuff.theunofficialfanfights@gmail.com. And we do see all your emails, even if you don't get a reply. We do see them all. We've seen them all. Langley from week 2, and what was his name from week 3? Oh my God, Ronnie. Ronnie Netflix. Ronnie was our fan fighter from week 3. So after the championship round, we will be going back to you guys to get another fan into our subsequent fan fight. So please, if you're interested, you can send us an email at that channel or that email address. And if you'd like to follow along today and tweet at us and make fun of us for having technical difficulties, it's This Is Tough, hashtag This Is Tough, TUFF. So please feel free to join us. Today's schedule, we are going to talk a little bit about Civil War. Spoiler-free Civil War, because Sam has not seen it yet. We don't want to spoil it for him or for you. We're going to talk about our new show on the channel called Odd Shape Panel. Hopefully Tom and Kimber can get back for that because that is their new show. It's really fantastic. And then we're going to do a little Mother's Day talk. So hopefully we can get all that worked out here very quickly. And then Ashley Davis and Joe Davis, who are 2 of our founders and fighters from week 1 and 2, they will be joining us in a little while. Kimber is joining, which hopefully means that they can hear us.
Can you see us and hear us?
I can see you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, I can
There
hear
was
you.
much-
All right. See, technical difficulties aren't anything to be afraid of. So basically, we just told everybody what the plan is for today. So we're going to start off, since they're here now. First, let me say hi, Tom and Kimber, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Tom and Kimber.
So Tom and Kimber have a new show here on our TUFF channel, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. It's called Odd Shape Panel, and we're going to be broadcasting that live on Mondays. And you're going to see the previous week's episode earlier on Monday. So, Tom and Kimber, why don't you tell us a little bit about your show, and then we'll give them more details.
So, pretty much, it's just we hang out on a Monday night, and we pick a topic. Right now, there's a poll on Twitter. Soundtracks and science fiction are tied, so that was a surprise there. So
Oh, wow.
we don't know what the next show is yet, but we'll find out soon. And then we just hang out and talk for a few hours, and pretty much it's a general discussion and a call-in show, and then we edit it down to about a half hour, then get all the gold, all the good stuff, put it together, and then make a show.
So, how did you? What is the platform you're going to be using for the show?
I mean, it's like a call-in, right?
Blab, you want to talk
Oh, Blab.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's
It's a new application called Blab. Unfortunately, it only works on iPhones as far as, or Apple products as far as mobile devices, but it's also available in browsers, and that's at It's at blab.im, and if you look in the, excuse me, if you look in the thing below, there should be a link to our channel via tiny URL.
Yeah, so if you guys want to join the discussion on Monday nights, just follow the link below and subscribe, and you'll be able to join in on the discussion. They have a chat, and they also have a video chat. So if you aren't comfortable necessarily getting on camera and talking to us, that's fine. You can also interact with the show via text. So it's really fun. The first episode is up now, and I have the link as well for that. I really enjoyed calling in on show number 2. I think people will really like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
We're editing that one down right now, and it's coming out to be something special. So
Oh, go ahead.
We didn't get an appearance by our certain favorite masked smoke vigilante in the second episode, but we still got some.
Is that Bong Leatherface? I can't remember.
Yeah, Leatherface Bong guy.
Leatherface Bong guy. Yeah.
He was great. Wherever you are, sir.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Odd-shaped panel mascot, Leatherface Bong Rip guy.
Yeah.
We'll put a poll up for that one.
So 1 o'clock on Mondays, I think we said, right? We're gonna drop the previous week's episode. That's the edited version. And then if you want to call in, it's between 9 and 10 o'clock on a Monday night, or is it always? Are we setting the time?
For right now, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
When later months come up, it may scooch back an hour or so. But we'll
Right. All right, so 9 o'clock on Mondays. Again, check out the link below. Subscribe to Odd Shape Panel. See what we do on the actual video itself. It's a lot of fun. We're going to do a little Odd Shape Panel here shortly. But first, let's talk Civil War.
Remind Tom and Kimber that we're doing spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free. Sam hasn't seen it. We don't want to spoil it for him. But for those of us that did see it, what did we think? Did we have a good time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As it rudely shows Sam, who didn't get to see it at all yet.
I will say that it did the Civil War. I think Captain America, as its own franchise within the Marvel Universe, is now a really good franchise. I don't think it disappointed or did any worse than Winter Soldier.
Oh no, I think it has far and away the best success ratio for all the movies. Like if you compare it to the 3 Iron Man movies, it's definitely more consistent.
Yeah, I think Captain America really is like the highlight of the MCU right now. I wouldn't have thought that originally with Iron Man being so successful.
Yeah.
And it's cool how they're all like different genre blends. The first one's that very like campy war movie, and then the second one's political thriller, and then the third one is just I don't even have an adjective for it.
That's what I think the third one did was blend. There's still like a pretty tight story element to the third one, but they brought in a lot more of that fantastical action to make it feel more like a super. So it didn't feel as much like a Bourne movie as Winter Soldier does. It had more like spectacle to it.
And it seemed like a lot of the characters. It seemed like a lot of the characters had equal like fighting chance. Like you would always see someone taking on someone different. You know what I mean? They blended. It wasn't always like they pinned one guy against another person, which is like the word.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't just like you're just here to fight this guy. You're just here to fight this guy.
Exactly.
Right. And there was definitely a good balance there.
You know, something I liked as well is that they didn't. I hate when they do the thing where they have, okay, like you're going to be the female on our team and you're the female on our team, and no guy can come up and hit you because you're the woman.
Yeah.
Everyone was fighting everyone.
Yeah.
And the chicks were awesome. I think that was like the strongest the women have ever been in the MCU. Definitely in this one.
Yeah, Black Widow just needs her own movie.
She does. They're working on it, supposedly.
Yeah, it'd be great. So Sam, not
but
having
truly,
seen... Oh, sorry.
Isn't just to be fair, Winter Soldier is almost like a co-starring vehicle for Black Widow. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
she hasn't had her own solo movie, but she has a really big part, and like I don't feel like she's underserved in Winter Soldier.
You can,
right?
Yeah, you can but you can say that about pretty much everyone in Civil War, though. They see the miscalculation they did in Age of Ultron was I feel like they didn't focus enough on certain characters and they focused too much on other ones when it's supposed to be like a full cast movie.
Right.
And in this movie, everyone has their own agendas and their own reasons for being there, and everything's wrapped up nicely. It's not rushed or shoehorned.
Yeah, I really like that about it.
Yeah, they did a good job introducing the new two characters too without making it feel awkward. Like Black Panther was really awesome, and I liked that Spider-Man. So I think they did a good job with them.
Organic, story-driven introductions, like that were part of the plot. They didn't just,
Yeah, for sure.
That's the hottest Ant-Man I've ever seen.
So let me get Sam in on the conversation here. So Sam, going into this movie, what would you consider to be like the top 3 MCU movies going into Civil War? Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Are you speaking? Because we're not getting you.
I can't tell if he's frozen or if he's just thinking really hard.
Hang on,
Sam. I can hear him.
Oh, I cannot hear him. Sam, say something again. It wouldn't be our show.
We can hear him.
Oh, I can't hear him. That's funny.
He's coming in clear.
And I can't hear. I'm not hearing Sam either. But you guys.
Sam, you just talk, Sam, and we're gonna nod knowingly, like everything you're saying is very sage and awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Yeah. No. So the only problem I have here, Sam, is I don't know. Oh, wait. There we go. Say something.
Okay.
I hear you now. Good. We're good. I'm very sorry.
Back.
It's the technical difficulty show here at TUFF. Sorry. Okay. So to answer the question, what's your favorite 3 movies going into Civil War?
See, I was saying that I don't really put as much into these comic book type movies and the Marvel movies. Like, I'll watch them; they're all fine, but I'm not huge into that sort of thing. Top three.
Has any of them made an impact where you were like, "Wow, like that was a really good film"?
See, I like the original Iron Man. The original Iron Man, I got into. I was sort of bored with the first Captain America. Saw the first Avengers, and it was alright. It wasn't the best thing I'd ever seen. It was a good movie to go and sit and watch on a Saturday. I was drunk during the second. I actually cried in the second Avengers because I was a bit emotional that day, and I was 5 Long Island iced teas in to a 3-movie marathon.
What was the scene? What was the scene that broke you down in Avengers: Age of Ultron? Do you remember?
It was something really random. I think it was when they were like invading the castle. I started to cry for no apparent reason.
So, do you have a least favorite of the?
See, the least favorite. See, I don't really have. It's like I don't really have a favorite. I don't really have a least favorite.
They all just kind of blend together for you.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that I'll watch them when they come out and things because I want to. Obviously, I'm the sort of person that will watch something even if it's terrible, just for the continuity and to find out what's going to happen. There's still several TV shows that I've been watching for years that are no longer any good, but I need to know what's going to happen, so I'll continue to watch them.
Right. Well, guys, what would we say on our lists? We did on Twitter. We've all kind of put out our lists of what we think are the top 13 now that Civil War is out. What would we all say are like the worst of the MCU?
The worst?
See, I don't know because it depends. Some Ant-Man I thought was really strong in some parts, but to me that villain is very forgettable. So like that notches it down. Like I think they're bad for different reasons. So I don't know if I can say words.
And
I
we
like,
gotta
I think
Address the Edgar Wright.
Well, yeah, it's hard with Ant-Man because if Edgar Wright had finished Ant-Man, it would have been a very different and no doubt a better movie. So I think a lot of the Ant-Man issues are attributed to switching directors halfway through.
But he was done really well in Civil War. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Paul Rudd.
The movie as itself.
I think Paul Rudd and Anthony Mackie stole it comedy-wise in Civil War. Hilarious, both of them.
Yeah, and I love Paul Rudd. He's easily like my favorite guy. Like Ant-Man isn't my favorite movie, but Paul Rudd is my favorite dude on the team at this point. I have a soft spot for Paul Rudd.
I think no matter how you feel about Ant-Man, you have to say that like Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd were good in it. Like I think the leads of that movie are strong.
It's definitely not.
I think there's definitely like you were saying, there's some story issues and there's some like superfluous characters that I kind of was like, why is there so much padding in this movie?
Yeah.
You know, it just felt like there was like a lot of additional the action and the stuff with the main characters is all real strong, but there just felt like a lot of fluff in it. You know.
Some of the movie was amazing, and I attribute the really good parts to like what it could have been like if Edgar Wright had finished it. And I think like the best example of that is the train scene with the Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff like that. That was definitely Edgar Wright. You can tell when you're watching that if you're a fan of his work that's definitely him too. Which one?
The bathtub scene, that was straight out of his initial work.
Yeah, like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids bathtub scene. That's also like very Edgar Wright. So like I think the parts that shine is the stuff that he worked on, and that the issues are attributed to them switching and not knowing what the hell to do with this half-finished Edgar Wright movie. You know?
I don't think Marvel has yet to have a flop. Like I would want to say Iron Man 2, but we have Sam Rockwell give a great performance as Justin Hammer.
But that doesn't save that movie, and he's wasted more than anything.
Yeah, but there's still elements of it. Like I still watch Iron Man 2 just to see Sam Rockwell, and so like I liked Whiplash before he got that crappy robot suit at the end. I liked it more when he was exposed and stuff. I thought that was cool. I think they didn't know what to do. They rushed it, but there's still like I don't think they've had a bad movie.
I really enjoyed.
No, I think you're right.
I enjoyed Iron Man 2 more than I think many did. Like it's not high on my list. I think it was 12 instead of 13. I didn't hate it though. Like I don't hate really any of the movies in the MCU, even though like I'm not big on Thor. His movies weren't bad. They just weren't like they weren't up here where Captain America's movies have been. But Iron Man 3 I think will always sit as the worst so far for me. Yeah. Mostly because of the Mandarin storyline.
Yeah, but they wrapped that up saying that these guys are just posers taking that name as the Mandarin is actually out there. They wrapped that up.
Yeah, but I think that we'll have a hard time overlooking the cheapness of the scene that we saw, or the movie that we saw, because they kind of sullied the name of the Mandarin for us, and they're really going to have to work almost harder now to do a Mandarin movie that we're willing to accept.
I mean, I kind of would like to never see the Mandarin. I feel like that would be a better way to do it. But
Spectre and his cat.
I love if you've read the Exterminus run, they executed that very well for Iron Man 3. To the point where like a lot of the things.
I still have Iron Man 3 fairly low on my list too, but going back to rewatch it like after kind of settling into what they decided to do with the Mandarin, really. Like, I enjoy a lot of the character development stuff that they do with Tony in that one. I feel like he actually grows from what we see in the first two and Avengers. You actually get a little bit. And then that is continued very well in Civil War, too. So, like, that part of Iron Man 3 I think is really strong. But then, yeah, like, the waste, like, Ben Kingsley was a really good Mandarin, and that was a cool idea of, like, this weird global terrorist and kind of, like, ethnically ambiguous and just kind of, and then they just bailed out on that. They just pulled the chute, and like that's a big bummer.
I'm looking at Twitter, and Janine DeBean, our friend here, says Iron Man 3, that slap in the face with Mandarin and the regurgitated Incredibles plot. Yeesh. It's true. I think I think that people who are into Iron Man went into that movie knowing that the Mandarin was a big deal for that character, and I think the letdown, like, it was funny at first when you first see Kingsley like play, you know, oh no, I'm Trevor, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm not gonna do your accent, but you know, he and at first you're like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute, like this was all a joke, but no, he was awesome as the fake Mandarin. I wanted that character, and then
you never saw it coming. I'll give you that much.
You didn't see it coming, but the problem was, like, he was the bite. Like, he played his role so well that we lost the character. That's the character we wanted to see by the end of the film. You want to see the Mandarin he was playing be the villain in that movie, and then there's no villain in that movie. I forget the other character's name because he was just so uninteresting.
I will admit there was a lot of misdirects that didn't make sense and a lot of stuff going on at the same time. I just really like seeing Tony Stark being Tony Stark out of his element. Like, I know it was like a MacGyver movie, but it was really cool to see
him with that kid.
Yeah,
just,
I can see why it's low on the list. But like I said, like there's elements of all these movies that I would watch any one right now. Incredible Hulk I would watch right now.
Yeah, see that.
Oh, I love the Incredible Hulk. I have to give a shout out. Josh Rogers agrees with Iron Man 3 is the bottom of his list too, Jack. So he's with you there.
Yeah, it wasn't high. It wasn't high for me.
I actually feel like I enjoyed the Thor movies than most people do. I want to defend them for a second because I think the Thor movies have like a lot of really cool stuff in them. Like Asgard's really cool, and like as a fantasy type fan, I thought that one has like a cool vibe, and I dug the whole like Shakespeare in the Park type speak and stuff.
I found Natalie Portman difficult to like in those movies.
I have never found her difficult to like. She is beautiful.
No, I'm not saying she's not attractive, but I would say that her performance, like, I think that she's too good of an actress for Thor.
And you know what it was? It was the timing with her, because that first Thor came out in the year that, like, Natalie Portman did every single movie. That was, like, the year Black Swan came out, and she did, like, 2 or 3 other movies that year. So when she was in Thor, everybody was like, well, fucking Natalie Portman again?
Right.
So I think that hurt her, too, with that.
And I like her.
I have Thor: The Dark World ahead of Ant-Man on my list, and ahead of the first Thor. I think the Dark World, like, because you didn't have to get bogged down in building that world. Now it was set up. You could get more into what was happening in the story. I definitely see some of the problems with too many comic relief characters in that one. Like maybe just one would have been okay. Maybe not 4.
Yeah.
I found that movie reminded me of what Star Wars: The Fight for Naboo like should have been, in that scene where like all the dark elves. They're dark elves, right? Because they look like dark elves.
Yeah, they're dark elves.
Yeah, when they're attacking Asgard, and you have the ships flying around, it was very reminiscent of like a battle over Naboo. But I was like, wow, like this fight is more interesting than an entire Star Wars franchise for the prequels.
Oh yeah, when that ship crashes through the throne room, that was awesome. And I love their like bombs that kind of like suck. They're like a mini black hole that like crush everything down.
But
I watched Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World in the same weekend for the first time. I had it was the same day actually. I had missed them for circumstances, which I never do, but whatever. And I found myself enjoying Thor so much more than Iron Man 3, a lot more. Like I strongly remember liking Thor more.
Well, I definitely agree it's better than Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. Just to throw you into the conversation here, Sam, do you have any thoughts of the other 12 movies? Did one like really stand out to you as being fun, or is your casual indifference cause for us to drink?
So you cut out for half the question there. I will say this: my only issue with the Thor movies is there's not enough Kat Dennings. There should be way more Kat Dennings in those movies.
I really like her, but I think that she's overused in those movies.
Would you have bought Kat Dennings in the Natalie Portman role, like as the main love interest?
Not at all.
No, not even. I mean, they would tone her down. Like even if you toned her down comedically, she would still be a little bit funny, but like make her a more serious. You don't think she could have played that out?
I personally, I like Kat Dennings. Like, I think she's really good in her Two Broke Girls, and I think that that's that character. It's the same character in the show that she's really well known for right now. And I think that show, like, she's definitely great at comic relief. I think she's adept at it. I think that it's out of place in Thor. Like, her style is so harsh, I guess, that she almost she stands out when she's in Thor. When there's comedy relief, like, you stop and go, this is Kat being funny. And I think that's my problem with her in the movies, because I really like her. I just don't really like her in those movies. Not that
She's just one of my she's just one of my movie crushes, so the more the better.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Natalie Portman in almost everything else but those movies and the prequels. But I do like Natalie Portman as an actress. But I think the reason for me I don't like Dark World as much as I liked the first Thor is that Dark World doesn't really accomplish anything in the long scheme. They have a movie. It sort of stands alone, but doesn't really accomplish anything. Doesn't have an impact on the entire story as a whole. It just kind of exists, and then no one seems to acknowledge that London had this huge event. It's like it never really happened in the MCU. No one really talks about it, and it's kind of.
I thought about that in Civil War when they were going over all the different destruction. They didn't mention the Hulk and Hulkbuster fight either, and they like knocked down a good portion of that city. Like, where was we're gonna let you off the hook for that one.
I'm sorry, Tom. What was that?
They did it in the same location. I really liked never mind. I was gonna spoil.
Oh yeah,
Right.
you gotta be. Yeah, we gotta be a little cautious. We don't want to ruin it for people.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just really hard to like
to talk about a movie when we can't talk about a movie.
Talk about it,
So my last question on Civil War, and then I'd like to move on to the Mother's Day thing, is we have the big fight for me has been, what did we like better, Winter Soldier or Civil War? And I deliberated for a really long time, and I picked Civil War as the best one over Winter Soldier, but I'm still kind of grappling with it. Winter Soldier is still so good in a slightly different way that it's hard to like figure out like which of these two movies is really better. So what do you guys think?
Here's the thing. The first 45 minutes of Civil War were very much like Winter Soldier. It was very political. The threat was real. We had a lot of talking. I think it was a good way to execute it so that the movie would blend into this bigger thing. So by using elements of Winter Soldier, I don't know if that makes it better, though, because Winter Soldier kind of perfected it, I feel. I thought the weight everything had in Winter Soldier, like when Cap's shield hit the wall, like you felt it. Like you saw like the impact it made and heard it. I don't know if they put that much detail into Civil War. There was a lot going on. We saw it front row in like recliner seats. I'm really curious to see it on a smaller screen because I think I missed a lot of stuff.
Did you see it in 3D?
We did, and I feel like 3D doesn't do the fighting justice. I feel like it has a hard time keeping up with it. So I'm curious to see it in 2D. I still feel like I'll feel the same way, but
I saw it in regular 2D vision, whatever you call it. I did not have glasses on, and I also found the fight scenes, particularly in the beginning, difficult to kind of follow. But it's that Bourne, whatever the second Bourne movie was, Supremacy. It's that Bourne Supremacy thing where they get right up in your face and they're like right here and they're moving around and you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and then they're cutting, but they're cutting close, and I'm like it's this trend now that's in a lot of movies, and I really just wish, like, let's take the camera way back and watch the fighting. Let's see the technical proficiency, especially with someone like Black Widow, who all of her moves aren't based on superpowers, they're based on technical skill. You know, I want to see, like, those moves that she's doing. I want to see the arm bars, the grabs, the twists. Like, that to me is interesting. And they're just so, like, right in your face. And it was really hard in that.
Now, see, I think I'm a dissenting opinion on this because I think we talked about it on Twitter. I felt like I had a really good handle on the action. Like, when I was watching that first scene, especially when Black Widow is fighting those guys when they split up. I mean, I'm not giving anything away here, but there's a little chase, and she meets up with a couple guys, and there was a really excellent sequence in there where I was like, wow, her stunt woman is on point. Like, that girl is working hard, where she's like in those heels and stepping over cars and sliding and I mean, I felt like I had a pretty good handle on it. So I don't know if it had to do with where I was sitting or I watch a ton of.
Did you watch it in 3D?
Movies, so no 3D for me either.
I feel like the 3D makes it harder. I feel like the 3D can't keep up with how fast things are moving, and it gives it like kind of a weird lag, and it makes it kind of muddy to watch.
I also think that like I didn't have a hard time following the fights. It just seemed like they happened so fast. My mind wasn't able to like repeat in my head. Like I remember one of the fights really well, but I cannot tell you in the order of how things happened because that's all just jumbled up. I really don't want to see it.
Yeah, I would like to see it again as well.
Yeah, my brother also coincidentally told me he knows her stunt woman, Scarlett Johansson's stunt woman for those movies. So shout out to her. He said she's really awesome and nice.
Absolutely, she is awesome.
Yeah.
Her fight
scene. Well, I watched Winter Soldier the night before, and I'm sure it's the same person. Because why would you change it up when you have somebody who does so well? And I was just, I mean, the scene where Captain America and they all take the ship at the beginning. There's some really great stuff with Black Widow in that part too.
In Winter Soldier.
In Winter Soldier, right.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Shout out to Hamza in the Twitter sphere. He says that Civil War is bigger, better, and more enjoyable than Winter Soldier. Shots fired.
Civil War 9.5.
Yeah, wow.
9.25. It's very close.
Yeah, Janine said as well. Civil War for me, it had so much to accomplish, and I think that it did while being very entertaining throughout. It's definitely entertaining. Like I'm not critical of it. Like I really love the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I think that the thing I liked was there are some issues. There are some things that this movie did that I think was done a little bit tighter in Winter Soldier. Like when I think of honest trailer proof, I think Winter Soldier is more honest trailer proof than this movie is honest trailer proof. Even though they're both very good movies, I can see more things that make me like and not to spoil. I won't be specific here, but how is there a camera right there? Like right there in that one scene.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that tweet.
All
earlier.
I kept thinking was like, really? Like there was a camera in the middle of the woods in a tree somewhere, like filming the exact moment we needed to make this all happen. So, like little things like that kind of stuck out to me. So it'll be interesting to see when this movie comes out on DVD what the honest trailer for it looks like. So.
Yeah, I also thought there was a lot of like big ass letters scrolled across the screen.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Yeah, like location changes, but then humongous letters for the play. Like you have to like turn your whole head to read it on the like huge screen. I thought there was a lot of those.
I'm a huge fan of CinemaSins. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with CinemaSins.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the things that Jeremy from CinemaSins often points out is when they put location descriptions on the screen, and as if you'd confuse it with London somewhere else. And in this one, all I kept thinking when these big words were on the screen, like London, all I heard in my head were the dings from
right.
Yeah. And it's like they take like a nice wide shot of like the setting, but you can hardly make out anything because
the letter is so huge across the screen, like the whole frame.
So there are issues, but I think all in all, we can all agree, those of us who've seen it, it's a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I particularly liked Black Panther. I thought he was really cool. Yeah.
And Spider-Man, I think can we all say we were pretty damn satisfied with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He talked more than he fought, and that's exactly what Spider-Man does. So.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, and I like that they also like showcased his strength. Because I feel like a lot of the Spider-Man movies don't show you like that this dude is super strong. You know,
right.
He like who'd he catch a punch? He caught like a punch from a strong dude.
Winter Soldier took a swing at him with his metal arm and.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I feel like they really did a good job showcasing like, hey, this dude's small, but he's like one of the strongest in the bunch. You know.
He's just shy of Hulk strength.
Yeah.
I feel like
according to the comics. So.
I feel like that was one of my biggest things. I love Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, but I'm like, he would have pasted Doc Ock. I mean, one punch, he would have just knocked his head clean off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really strong.
Yeah.
I mean, up until now, that's been my favorite Spider-Man. But
did we like Aunt May?
She's hot.
I did it.
She is hot, but do we want hot Aunt May or do we want old Aunt May?
okay, first off, I don't understand what the age, like, if it's his mother's sister, I forget what the exact connection is.
It's one of their sisters.
Age appropriate. She's age appropriate to be Tom Holland's aunt.
Exactly. And if anything else, that the day and age we're in, I feel like older people look great. You know what I mean? As opposed to like the 80s or the 90s, where I feel like it's more realistic.
I love her as an actress, but Aunt May in the comics is an old woman to me, regardless of how right or wrong that decision is. So when I see Marissa Tomei, like it literally took me a few moments to like figure out like that's Aunt May. Like wait a minute, that's Aunt May. Like when they said she was going to be in the movie, I expected her to have makeup on and be older than she is, and she's fantastic. She's 51. She looks fantastic.
Yeah, she looks amazing. 51
and it's appropriate. She's age appropriate. It does make sense. But I'm just used to old Aunt May, so it really struck me. It didn't work for me.
I mean, there was this one arc where Aunt May wins like a bunch of money, so Doc Octopus tries to marry her.
Yeah.
So it would be funnier now where like his enemies just hit on his aunt, and it just makes him like when she gets like kidnapped or in danger, he's like, "Man, this lady's hot," and just be like, "Stop talking about my aunt that way."
All right, guys. Well, speaking of hot women, let's talk about our moms. Let's segue this into Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day today. We are filming on the 8th of May. So to close out the show, let's just talk about mothers a little bit and what kind of shows they would enjoy, what movies that they would really like. Do we know what our mom's favorite movie is? How about you, Brian?
Oh,
go ahead,
my mom, her favorite movie might be Tombstone. I mean, she's a big Kurt Russell fan, big Val Kilmer. And to be fair, my mom isn't like super into mom movies. Like she was the one who like took me to see all the Stallone movies when I was a kid, like Demolition Man in the theater, you know, that sort of thing. Got me into, so like I still, in fact, this coming Wednesday I'm going to take her, because we didn't get together today, but we're going to go see Civil War because my mom loves action movies, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one, let's go, I'll go again, let's do it.
I'm listening, guys. Real quick, I'm just going to try to get Joe in here and Ashley.
Oh, great.
They have arrived, so let me just send them invites real fast.
My mother's favorite movie was the video of my birth.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, my mom's I would say more so a nerd than anyone else in my family. She's a big Trekker. She loves The Flash on TV right now.
Oh, cool.
She also likes watching Arrow, but that's for different reasons. She likes to see people work out. Not shy to let me know.
How about you, Sam?
I don't know about what a favourite movie is, but I tend to use my mother as an excuse when we're in the same city. We used to live in the same city, now we're 5 hours apart. I used to use her as an excuse to go and see the chick flicks that I wanted to see and try and make it, oh, my mum dragged me along. It's like, I didn't want to go and see The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds. That wasn't my decision at all.
What was the last chick flick you saw with your mom?
I think is it called The Other Woman? The one with
the Beyonce in that one?
No, Nicki Minaj and Cameron Diaz and.
Oh yeah. I know the one.
Yeah.
They're like all the girlfriends.
Yeah. Is it Jamie from Game of Thrones? Maybe.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered his name off the top of my head, but yeah, Jamie.
Nicholas I don't know, Danish. I can't pronounce his last name.
Kate Upton too, the model.
Yeah,
the really
Kate Upton.
curvaceous blonde.
When I was a kid, my mom took me. I remember.
That was it.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
I can tell you that she wasn't overly impressed when I took her to see Sweeney Todd. I told her that we're going to see a Johnny Depp movie, which is also a musical, and she was really excited. And about 5 minutes in, I got slapped.
Really?
At least you took her to see an upper level Depp Burton collaboration. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. You could have taken her to Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
I actually really like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, my mom
I do too. I'm not being
loves
coy.
Sweeney
I like
Todd.
it.
Yeah, my mom loves that one.
I've watched Sweeney Todd a lot as a kid.
Oh, that was my favorite play ever. Before they ever announced that Tim Burton was doing that, I was really excited, and I thought they did a good job.
Tim Burton was a good call for that film.
I know, too, we're all Kevin Smith fans. If anybody has seen Jersey Girl, they do a nice little tribute in Jersey Girl to the Sweeney Todd play, him and the daughter. That's a great scene.
I love Jersey Girl, and anyone who follows me on Twitter might have seen me express repeatedly how much I truly enjoy that scene in Jersey Girl. I feel like that alone makes people, like, that movie has George Carlin giving a super heartfelt, awesome performance, and a freaking Sweeney Todd play. That's all you need to be a good movie.
I think Ben Affleck, too, gives a realistic performance of the stress of what it's like. Like, when he yells at his daughter, like, that's emotional not just for her, but for him, too. Like, because as a parent, you can get to that point where you're just like, I'm at the end of my rope with you. Like, what am I gonna do? And like, now I can be on both sides of that. Like, I can see it from his perspective, and I think
the little girl too
came out at the wrong time, you know.
The little girl's great in that movie as well. Totally underrated. Yeah, underrated.
We have some from Twitter here. Axel Carlson's mom loves Sophie's Choice and Forrest Gump.
Hell yeah, big shout out to Axel Yarv and our Swedish peeps.
Yeah, you know, it's Sophie's Choice is not when your mom loves Sophie's Choice.
Is your mom Sophie?
Do you have siblings, Axel? Because if you do, find out if you're the favorite one, my friend.
He did.
Yeah. I got to shout out my mom's favorite movies too. My mom loves Memoirs of a Geisha, all of the Rocky movies, and Charlotte's Web. I feel like those are probably her
mom loves Rocky. My mom
she also is a huge Hitchcock fan. My mom loves Hitchcock.
My mom has a really interesting taste. She's interested in all different kinds of movies. She watches Game of Thrones. I know for a fact that her favorite Star Trek episode is from the classic series City on the Edge of Tomorrow. Whenever she thinks of Star Trek, she always brings up that one, and she's really, really up on original series trivia. My mom loves everything, so she's into it all.
Jeanne from Twitter also says that her mother loves Game of Thrones, or Janine, I'm sorry, loves Game of Thrones, but she calls it Games of Thrones.
and Lost in Yonkers is her mom's favorite movie, she says, which I've never seen. Lost in Yonkers.
And Hamza Juzer says he watched Sweeney Todd as a kid. Like, how long ago was that movie? Did that even come out?
How old is this kid?
Like Jack? 10. Hamza, I think, is a young man then, because
he must be quite a young buck.
Because that's what 10 years ago, I think, or so.
Yeah, barely, if that.
And it had to be syndicated onto television.
And it was on TV already. Yeah.
Right.
And welcome to Brienne, who just joined us. Brienne, we're talking moms. You're a mom, Brienne, so tell us what your favorite movie is when you get a second on This Is Tough. But our moms like a lot of movies too. I think if it wasn't for our moms, we probably wouldn't be as into everything that we're into now. I know I can say that for sure. Her and my dad showed me Star Wars, and influence Willow. My mom took me to E.T. even though I cried my eyes out.
Oh yeah, my mom and I still have a tradition on like her birthday or Mother's Day. I don't buy her anything. She doesn't need anything from me. She can buy things for herself. So we go to movies together. Like, that's still what we do.
And please welcome, real quick, Ashley and Joe have arrived. Guys, welcome.
Hey, Ashley's here.
It's great to see you. I don't know how much of the show you've been able to enjoy, but hopefully you got to see a little bit before you were able to get in.
Yeah, we watched a little of it on the way home. So we saw where y'all were discussing some issues in Civil War about the titles on the locations. That bothered the crap out of me too. It's like, why are they so massive? Like, whatever happened to the little titles in the corner where it's like all military looking or whatever? It's like, why does it have to be across the whole screen?
A welcome to sign would have been like a nice little.
Maybe they thought it would have been like, there were too many people. There were going to be too many people in the theaters, and they wanted everybody in the back to be able to know, like, oh, we're definitely in London.
Oh, they know now.
Yeah, we're logos.
So we're talking about moms and Mother's Day. Would you guys like to share some stories about Mother's Day? What your mom maybe found as her favorite movies?
A lot of my favorite movies. I got my taste in movies from my mom. So like movies like Dragnet and Predator. They're some of my favorites because my mom introduced me to them and I grew up with them. About the
Predator.
only thing that we have a difference on is like she loves Star Trek way more than I do, but we both love Star Wars a huge amount. Yeah, and I don't dislike Star Trek. I just
Right.
I'm more of a Star Wars person.
Nothing wrong with that.
Get that. Exactly my deal.
Brienne says her favorite movie is Aliens. Or
Alien.
Yeah, it seems like we got some
Alien.
pretty cool moms here. Alien, yeah, she's
Alien, yeah, Alien, not Aliens.
To
Although
be
Right.
fair,
she likes
both of them
Aliens.
are fantastic movies.
Yes.
Right. That's like splitting hairs, right?
Yeah, we like them both for different reasons.
Yeah, shameless plug. We do a lot of talking about Alien and Ripley on this week's Odd Shape panel coming out tomorrow.
Hey, I was
at 1
there for
p.m.
that.
Yeah,
You were.
you're in that. You're the guy talking about
I'm in
that.
that.
So
I was there. That was me.
Nice.
yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody in the room actually popped by and is featured on Odd Shape panel this week. So that's cool.
Nice.
So it's a
Yeah, it was a
good-looking
lot of
group.
fun.
So.
You know, we are all rather handsome, except for
I
Ash,
mean-
who is attractive.
There are more offensive people.
Yes. And we do, watching the show, like, you also get guests that aren't us, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not,
awesome.
It's not just
Yeah.
us on the show. It's fans like you guys can out there can watch as well. So it's really great. And hopefully everybody can check it out. And that's, again, tomorrow. Last week's episode will drop around 1 o'clock, and then tomorrow night is the full show. Hamza Juzer is 22. So I guess 10 years ago was about 10 or 12 for him, and it makes sense that he saw it as a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a young lad. That's fine.
That movie's that old.
What was the last movie everybody saw with their mom? Sam had said, which one was yours, Sam?
Well, that was the last chick flick I saw. The last movie I think we watched together. We haven't actually been to the last movie we watched was The Usual Suspects.
Oh, that's a great movie. Did you see it in a theater, or you just sat with your mom and watched it like in video?
No, we were just at my place.
That's a fantastic movie.
My mother lives in Illinois. I'm in New York, so I would visit her every summer, and we made a deal to go out and see a movie every summer. So like a lot of movies have like a special place in my heart, like Dragonheart, which isn't necessarily a good movie. But I'll watch
The
it.
first one was decent.
Hey, yeah, go flag on Dragonheart now.
28 Days Later was a good one I saw with her, but the last one I think I saw was with her and my younger brother, and it was The Fountain. And she said the same thing as Axel's mother said when he showed her Phantom of the Paradise, which was, what is this garbage? And I was blown away because I thought The Fountain was amazing.
The Fountain is beautiful movie.
But yeah.
And Axel will show Phantom of the Paradise to anyone who will watch it. So
Well, now I'm curious. I might Google it after this.
you should.
What's a movie you never want to see with your mom?
Yeah, I have to sit out of this one because me and my mom have like a no-holds-barred type of relationship. We went to see Zack and Miri make a porno in the theater together. Like
But
we are like weirdly close and now that I'm an adult, so there's like literally no movie I would not see with my mom.
I'm kind of in a similar boat. There might be parts of movies that I'm like, hey, I need to go use the restroom and get out of this scene for a minute, and that would be about the worst. Like, if we went and saw Deadpool, if we saw Deadpool together, I probably would not be super comfortable with the montage, the first montage.
Right.
Nah, I'd be fine.
Yeah, but, I'm a guy, and I don't want... Yeah.
Like I wouldn't sit down and watch Nymphomaniac with my mom.
Right.
By
Yeah.
Lars.
See, I wouldn't with my dad, but my mom is like, I don't know, I have a special type of mom. She's amazing.
And like I said, I used to watch Dragnet with my mom. There's a freaking strip club scene in there, but
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
but
See,
Oh,
I don't know
Janine
about
said
movies, but
Janine said she went and saw Magic Mike with her mom, XXL, so there's that.
and I would
see,
not.
while we're on the subject of strip clubs, the last time my mother was in town was we go to the football together for her birthday every year, which is our teams play round one every year. And me and my mates generally go, there's a topless bar / sort of strip shows across the road from the football. And so my mother, I drag her along there every time.
How did your mom have a good time?
Well, she's been a midwife / registered nurse for the last, what are we going to say, 30 plus years, so she's seen far worse than what she sees in there.
I'm sure. What are some of the other things we're seeing on Twitter, guys? I haven't looked.
Well, I was gonna say Morgan Robinson and Josh Rogers both just say they just don't have moms that are that into movies, so they don't. Their moms are just like pass, you know.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for my mom showing me movies as a kid, I don't know how into them I would have been. I mean, we've seen so many movies together. In fact, one of the movies that my mom took me to was The Jungle Book, the original Jungle Book, as a kid. Nice. And I hated it so much that we actually left the theater. My mom's like, if you want to leave, we can leave. I'm like, I just don't dig the talking animals. Like, it didn't do anything for me. But, my mom always took me to the movies. And we
there's something more acceptable about talking animals when there aren't people there. Like, Lion King, super acceptable because there aren't people there.
Right. Like Bambi I can get because all the animals are being animals. But, yeah, when the humans, I think that is a good point. Like, the humans kind of throw it off for me. But I've never identified with human talking movies in it.
Yeah, they do it really well in Pocahontas, where like the animals definitely have their own personalities, and the same thing with Abu. But then you have Iago. But with Pocahontas,
he's a parrot, so.
Yeah, I guess. I bring Pocahontas up because I had a big family, so I had a lot of like aunts and uncles who are into different things. So I know my Uncle Frank definitely like got me into Star Wars. He gave me like an SENS with the Star Wars game when I was like 9 or 10.
Super Star Wars?
Yeah. And my aunt
that game's hard as hell.
My aunt brought me to see Pocahontas in IMAX, and ever since then, I was always like, all right, what's the next Disney movie? Because like it was so cool just seeing all the colors of the wind.
Like the first Disney movie I remember seeing in the theater, it had to have been the re-release of Bambi, but I remember growing up, my mom like made a really big deal about taking me to see the re-release of Fantasia. There was only one theater in town playing it, and she's like, we have to go see this movie. This is an amazing movie. And I remember it being like pretty cool as a kid with all the musical numbers, especially like the one that stands out in my mind is like the Sorcerer's Apprentice one with all of the
brooms and
stuff. That one, and then isn't the one with the devil figure? Is that in Fantasia too, where it's like
yes,
yeah, that stood out to me. And yeah,
I remember the hippos.
It's called the Chernabog.
The ballet and
the Chernabog. That's right.
Yes.
And she was like, we have to go see this movie. I was in elementary school, and like we found like the one theater in town that had it, and she just was so excited so that we could see that together because, that was something that she liked from when she was younger. Because my mom was always like the older mom out of all of the kids our age. Like everyone else's mom's like in their 30s or 40s. My mom's like 50 and. Like so, she was into a lot older stuff. Like my mom's favorite movie is Casablanca, and so she really, turned me towards that. And like the last movie that we saw together, we never really got out much together. Was Good Night and Good Luck, the black and white Edward R. Murrow retelling with.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I think he's in it, and so is George Clooney. Is really good. We both really enjoyed it. It's an excellent movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick here, if I can take it back for just a second to movies you might not want to watch with your mom. Hamza Juzard said he just watched The Witch yesterday and wanted to know if any of us saw it. I saw it. Anybody else?
No, I did not see The Witch. What's that?
We really want to see it.
Yeah,
is that the new one?
It was it was a horror movie. It just came out about a family who gets exiled from their Puritan town for being basically too religious for their Puritan town.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they find a little spot on the edge of the woods and are pretty much instantly tormented by a witch. Really great, slow moving, high tension. Just a really, really great kind of slow build horror movie. So I really liked it, Hamza. These guys will probably like it once they see it.
My mom does not like horror films at all. She doesn't like blood.
This is not something you want to take your mom to.
Yeah, no, she doesn't like blood. She doesn't like heavy violence. She's closed her eyes during a lot of scenes of Game of Thrones.
No.
She watches it, but she hasn't had her eyes open for all of it. So,
I distinctly remember, like, my mom recommending, when I was young, mind you, like, The Exorcist and Jaws and the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, my mom saw that I took an interest in that, and she was like, oh, you like this stuff? I like this stuff, too, here, and just, like, laid all this gold on me. Like, Alien. My mom was amazing. I'm so glad she loves horror.
My mom was more of like an 80s action film. Like, her taste in music was classic rock and hair metal. So if that lets you translate to any kind of like movies she liked, I got my taste in television and movies from her, like I said earlier. So like, I actually really enjoy the Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh yeah.
And
We
it's
watched
those
that
kinds
recently.
of movies.
My wife and I sat down and watched that recently.
I'm still waiting for Skeletor to come back.
I know.
He said he'd be
I
back.
just did a rewatch. Red Letter Media posted a commentary for Masters of the Universe, so I just did a rewatch on it too, and it's a great guilty pleasure for sure.
Yeah, we did the Mega Movie get-together they had not too long ago with that, and we watched it with them. That was really fun.
So guys, pretty good show today. I know it was brief, but happy Mother's Day to all of our moms out there. Hopefully they'll get to watch this, and we're proud of what we're showing them in this particular show. But happy Mother's Day to everyone's mom, and thank you for joining us today on our show. We called this one TUFF Channel Live just because we didn't really do a movie fights. So a little housekeeping here at the end of the show. Next week is our championship round. We will have 3 championship fighters. We have Tom, we have Sam, and we have Brian, and they will be facing off to see who leaves 2-0 and who goes home to Australia sad and lonely. I'm not saying it's going to be you, Sam, but Brian.
If we lose, we win a trip to Australia?
Yeah, you either win a trip to Australia or you get to go home in your own bed. So one of those 2 things will happen next week. So we'll be running that show probably at 1 o'clock. But keep an eye on the TUFF channel. Twitter. If it's going to change, it would be at 3 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock. I have a wedding the day before, and I don't know how sober I'll be by 1. So I should be fine, but we'll find out. So please keep an eye on the channel. But it should be 1 o'clock next week. Stay tuned for that.
Speaking of that, can I just say, rough morning, Friday morning after drunk movie fights for me. I know I seemed coherent on after the fights, but maybe overdid it a touch. I'm not gonna lie.
Gotta keep your body a temple.
I was very
sober. You gotta watch out for those work nights.
I was sober, but it was definitely fun watching it.
You want to talk about a rough Friday morning? That was my Friday morning, was drunk movies.
Can we all just point out how like sharp and coherent and able to argue well Ken was when he was just...
He was amazing.
Ramming it with the joke.
Drunk Dan on Monday Night Raw, and then again on this. It's just always a pleasure. And I thought Spencer, too, I liked, because Spencer's usually very quick-witted. He still was, but he was kind of, you could see him fading. I thought it was just that was such a great episode. Not something I'd want him to do all the time, but definitely they need to bring it back eventually.
Oh, also, we gotta say it's Raul's birthday, so happy birthday, Raul.
Happy birthday! What a great day to have a birthday. Happy birthday, too. We miss you. We know you would like to be here today if you could, but we understand why you can't. He's in a place right now where he has to pay for every second of internet because I believe he is in Mexico.
Terrible.
So he
Should we
does
sing a little
hi.
Grease or something? Or?
Yeah, he says hi, but he does say. Now I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say? I don't remember, and I'm the host. That's not good. But happy birthday to you, Raul. And again, next week we'll do our championship fight. Tomorrow, Ache panel, 1 o'clock for the last week's show, and 9 o'clock for the live show. So please check it out. All the details that you need to know are in below. And if you have any questions for us for our championship round, we'd love to hear them. TUFF questions, TUFF questions, will be our hashtag. I will be looking at that hashtag all week to get questions for the fight. I plan the questions for Wednesday, so you have 3 days to get them in. So if you have anything you'd like to share with us or a question you'd like to see us fight, please put it in the hashtag below, and we will definitely check it during the week.
Did you promote the TUFF Twitter? We have our own Twitter handle now?
I don't know if I did, but I'll do it again no matter what. It's TUFF Channel, TUFF Channel on Twitter, so definitely follow us on there. We will put updates for all of our shows when they're coming out. and where you can find us. So real quick before we go, let's just say who everyone is again and where to find us. Sam, where's
Hello. My Twitter is, what is my Twitter? At @cismaryelephant, I think, maybe.
So please
Somewhere.
follow him on Twitter. Tom and Kimber?
You can find me on Twitter at @IamTomRiddler, or you can follow the link below and find our Blap show, which is on Mondays, all around.
Yes, and I'm at SJ Plus Junkie with an IE at the end, so you could follow me there.
And Brian?
Oh, yeah, you can follow me at Hurstkiles.
And Ashley and Joe?
You can follow me at Twitter at Mrs. Davis_DPHS.
And I'm at Drake Masters.
And I did remember what I was going to say. We were just talking about the Screen Junkies. If you like us and you've never heard of them, please check out the Screen Junkies show. They're at screenjunkies.com or right here on YouTube. The show we were referring to right here at the end, Drunk Movie Fights, we were watching on Thursday. If you're not familiar with it, you definitely need to check it out. It's pretty awesome. So please look in on them. And we will see everyone a week from now on Sunday for the championship round of Fan Friction. So that's it. Everybody have a wonderful Mother's Day to you and your moms.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.